Hey, welcome back to another edition of Ego on Break. I almost forgot the name. Since it's been 8 months since we done one.
Oh, we did one in October.
So
October still?
Yeah, October.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Great Southern 8 edition. We're going to do a little review and our thoughts on each of the matches. I'm your host, Jay Andrews, and as always, I'm joined by the Mississippi Madman, Logan Creed.
Yep.
What's up, Madman?
Not fine.
So overall, what was your thought? Like, good, bad, thumbs up, thumbs down? What was your thought on the 6th Great Southern 8?
I thought it was good. I ain't gonna say it was my favorite, but it was good.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't seen all the matches. I've seen bits and pieces of all of them because I was kind of running around and doing my thing, trying to keep up with everything. But overall, I think the feel of it was there. I think it definitely lived up to the hype of the Southern 8. So I was proud of that. I don't think there was really just anything in the tournament that was horrible as far as like bad matches or anybody getting hurt or anything like that. Definitely some spots where guys should have been hurt, but they were not hurt, thankfully. And you know, I think so I think the probably the most dangerous move that I saw was when Eric Wayne had assist from young Silas Wilder and double stomped O'Shea Edwards on the floor. I think that was probably the most dangerous move I saw of the night.
Baby kick of doom. Yeah.
And I have heard that Silas Wilder has challenged King Maxwell. So hopefully down the line we'll get to see that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that won't work, but okay.
But overall, I thought the tournament was a success. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of unique things I've never seen before, like a baby doing a double stomp.
Yep.
But overall, I thought it was great. You have a favorite match?
I actually had two. I thought probably were equal to me, but actually Eric Wayne and
O'Shea,
and then Stunt Marshall and Fury.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I thought both of those was very good. Probably the top two matches of the night, especially in the first round. They definitely. I think each match had some stuff I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd probably say I'd have to give it to Eric Wayne and O'Shea for the top match.
Now, even though he wasn't in my favorite match, but the Ike Cross guy really stood out to me.
Right.
I mean, he really, really stood out.
Yeah. I think I think all of the guys that were in it brought something different.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that we had the two substitutions that we had. Replacements. Yeah, got a little tongue tied. But I think Ike Cross and Joe Black definitely, brung it. So it was one of those things where like, hey, we're not here to be replacements. Even though neither of the two guys made it past the first round, I think both of them left an impression in the crowd where they were like, hey, take notice of us, so very, very cool on their part to bring their A game. So, just give a rundown of the first round. We had Ray Fury, he defeated Stunt Marshall. Bam Bam Malone defeated Joe Black. O'Shea Edwards defeated Eric Wayne.
Yep.
And then Brady Pierce defeated Ike Cross. So that set our semifinals up. And went on from there. Is there anything in those first round matches that really stuck out to you?
Okay, let's see. The first match with Fury and Stunt Marshall.
Yeah.
When Fury went for his dive.
Yep.
His feet hung up.
Is that what
on the
happened?
top rope, it looked like.
Yeah.
And I thought he was just going to break his neck in the first round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that stood out.
Yeah, I was like, well, I guess he'll have a new match somewhere down the line in the Special Olympics.
And then the spine buster in the Eric Wayne and O'Shea match on the floor.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked.
Was pretty
I don't know if I would have been signing up to take that bump.
No, I'm pretty positive.
I've taken some bumps like that, but never one like that. That was pretty vicious. I'll tell you something. There was something in the Joe Black Bam Bam Malone match that I'd never seen. Guys in the corner, runs in, catches the boots to the face, runs back in, catches the boots. Joe Black threw his legs outside.
Yeah.
Normally you would see this. It's always followed up by like the long blower, the back cracker or whatever.
I always said neck breaker.
Or neck breaker, okay. Well, Joe hit the opposite ropes, come in, slid under the ropes and caught him with a German off the ropes, and I was like, wow, that's probably the move of the night.
Yeah.
And then Ike Cross's dive was beautiful. Like, I don't know if there's anybody else out there that does one that good. He's a tall guy. He's way taller than I thought he was.
He's pretty jacked.
Yeah. So, and I mean, he hit it with ease. Like, it was no hesitation, no thought. It was straight like, oh, see you on the floor, bam, I'm getting you, you know. And I think the crowd on that side got a little more of Ike Cross than they wanted.
Probably.
But you know,
come to the front row at Ego.
There you go. You know, it's definitely the who was the comedian that used to smash the watermelons or whatever? Gallagher.
Yeah.
You know, and like all the crowd would be like with raincoats on the first couple of rows.
Yeah, but 250-pound guys.
Well, I think at Ego you should have like shields or something to like block
car doors with windows.
So I thought it was pretty cool, but overall, I mean, we got to see Brady Pierce, we got to see Ike Cross, we got to see Joe Black, we got to see Bam Bam Malone, we got to see O'Shea Edwards, we got to see Eric Wayne, we got to see Ray Fury, we got to see Stunt Marshall.
And Brady Pierce.
Yeah, I said Brady Pierce.
Did you?
Yeah, so overall it was great.
This was probably your biggest guy year.
Yeah, and that's what I set out to do. You know, the tournament has gotten, and I don't know why it has gotten that stigma of being a cruiserweight tournament, even though every year there's guys that don't fit that bill. Yeah. So I set out to go, okay, I want this to be the biggest tournament, like, you know, as size wise, and I don't want guys to be, oh, that's a cruiserweight, because I mean, you take out Ray Fury, you know, and maybe Ike Cross, and I don't think anybody would think cruiserweight, you know.
But in the end, a cruiserweight won.
And in the end, a cruiserweight won. I guess speed does beat power sometimes.
Sometimes.
So it moves on to the second round. We had Bam Bam Malone versus Ray Fury, and we had O'Shea Edwards versus Brady Pierce. Tell me about the first match, Ray Fury and Bam Bam. Anything that stood out to you?
I was trying to think. That's what I remember. The finish was a cutter. No, the finish was actually a frog splash.
Yeah, no, the elbow, the froggy
elbow. That was what actually stood out to me, is that he didn't end it with that. Yep. That was a froggy elbow.
Yeah, because he defeated Stunt Marshall with that cutter, and I think he hit the cutter.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I think he went for the cutter. Maybe it was reversed, and then ended up with hitting something that led to the froggy elbow. Yeah, me too. So, but overall, you know, a very solid match.
Yeah.
A lot of people were referring to Bam Bam as like a guy that could have came out of Texas in the '80s with the kind of the hair metal kind of baby face. Your Marty Jannetty, you know, Shawn Michaels kind of pretty boy rocker type gimmick, and I don't know if that's what he goes for, but he definitely kind of puts off that look.
Well, I'd say if you saw his pictures on the floor, though, that he sells, he looked like Steve Corino from ECW in the pictures.
And I heard someone say, like, he's very Dolph Ziggler-esque in his look.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's a little taller.
Yeah, he probably is. So I thought the match was very solid. Like I say, Ray Fury advanced. And that led us to O'Shea Edwards and Brady Pierce, which was a match that was probably the shortest match in pro wrestling Ego history.
At least for the tournament.
Yeah. Once the bell rung, it lasted maybe 5 seconds. So,
I was going to go with 3, but
yeah. Well, he had to walk. Yeah. So what had happened was Brady attacked O'Shea Edwards, beat him around the floor, threw him against the ring, you know, smashed some stuff in his face.
Honestly, I couldn't see it where I was.
Just really put a beating on him on the ground, threw him in, grabbed the ref, made the ref ring the bell, went to pick O'Shea Edwards up, inside cradle, 1, 2, 3, Brady Pierce lost. So definitely the shortest match in tournament history, but probably in pro wrestling Ego history. Like I say, once the bell rung, it was probably 4 or 5 minutes of beating on the outside of the floor, but probably 5 seconds in the ring, and that's probably stretching it.
Yeah.
So you moving up to the finals. Congratulations, Ray Fury, O'Shea Edwards. You got Mississippi and Georgia being represented. So you know, one of the states are going to have a repeat victory. Georgia's already 2. Yeah, they have 2 victories in winning the Southern 8. Mississippi has 1. So now they are tied 2-2. because I just spoiled the ending as Ray Fury defeated O'Shea Edwards in the
spoiled it
finals.
earlier when I said a cruiserweight won.
True. Solid matches. I had went to ringside, presented the trophy to the referee. I wanted to stand by to make sure there was no shenanigans. I wanted a clear-cut winner, no excuses, and I think I got that. I had to restart the match, and I apologized to O'Shea Edwards and told O'Shea, hey, this is something I would have done if the roles would have been reversed. He had pinned Ray Fury. Fury's leg was under the ropes. So I grabbed the referee, said, hold on your decision, reviewed footage on tape. I grabbed the cameraman, rewinded the camera, and said, you can see here, and I know it was a little controversial. That's not what I wanted, but I did want, at the end of the day, I didn't want anybody to say, well, my foot was under the ropes, or he used a weapon, or whatever. So I restarted the match, and from that point, both men had equal opportunity. Matter of fact, O'Shea probably had more opportunity because he was the guy that just knocked him out for 3 seconds.
So technically.
Unfortunately, froggy elbow later, O'Shea lost.
A cutter and a froggy elbow.
A cutter and a froggy elbow. I stand corrected. But overall, I think, without that hiccup, I think it was good, but I think it was great with it because we can now say that there's no excuses. Ray Fury did win the match. Or let me rephrase that. There was a clear winner in the match. There was the loser couldn't come back and say, well, my foot was under the ropes, or he used a weapon, or whatever. I think it was as fair as it could be, and overall I felt the crowd was happy with it. So we'll see how that goes from here on out. But your 2017 Great Southern 8 winner, Ray Fury. So before the semifinals, we had a match that had been a month or so in the making. The last Byram event we had, which was in September, the Abbey Street Boot Boys issued an open challenge to any 3-man team. In the October event, the benefit for Puerto Rico, we saw Nightmare Jeremiah make his return. He had already put out videos saying he was returning at the Southern 8. I guess he doesn't tell time very well, as he returned early.
So surprise you.
Won the Squared Circle Survival match, and also that night we saw the Left Hand Path. There, the Ghost Silva and Zombie Dragon defeat the Cavemen to become Pro CEO Tag Team Champions, and an unholy type alliance was made, you could say, with the Left Hand Path and the Nightmare known as Jeremiah forming the Path of Nightmares, and they accepted the Abbey Street Boot Boys challenge to face them at the Great Southern 8, and challenge them they did. And sticking,
I thought they just kicked their ass.
Sticking with tradition, it was the elimination style match, kind of our Survivor Series-esque match. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, well, the Boot Boys lost.
They won.
Smooth. I'm not gonna say fair and square, but they won. Their match, the victory of their match, is one of the reasons I decided to come ringside for the finals of the tournament, because I didn't want shenanigans like that to happen. We got to see Zombie Dragon break out the green mist twice.
Shades of Muda.
Yeah, shades of Muda, shades of maybe he's just rotting on the inside.
It's possible too.
I don't think it doesn't seem to permanently damage them, so that's the reason I'm like, well, maybe it's just rotting intestines or something he's spewing out on them.
Two headlock drivers to put him out.
Yeah, so well, I mean, he is dead.
Exactly.
So it makes a difference.
Double shot.
Yeah, but Nightmare, Eric Silva, and Zombie came out victorious. So heck of a match between those three. I'm sure it's not over. I'm sure the Boot Boys they don't like being defeated, especially in the manner they were defeated, where there was questionable tactics. But it just goes to show you that you can't put anything behind. You can't put anything. Lost my word there, but
that was horrible.
Yeah,
you can't trust anybody.
That's the words I'm looking for. So
they're nightmares. They're monsters.
They're monsters.
They're not.
You got a zombie, a ghost,
Humanist.
and a nightmare. So Freddy, freaking Casper, and The Walking Dead.
Out of hell from Elm Street.
So definitely a different match, and overall I thought the event was great. Like I said, I think probably the two standout matches were probably Eric Wayne and O'Shea, and Stunt Marshall and Ray Fury. If you had to give the nod to one of those, which one would you give the nod to? Would you go with Eric and O'Shea as the top match?
I'm really not sure because it was two different style matches.
Yeah.
Because one was, I'd stick it at tie. Honestly, yeah.
I seem to nod more toward O'Shea and Eric. I think if the mistimed dive wouldn't have been in the first match,
yeah,
I think that probably could have helped bump it on over. But anytime you have a 4-month-old interfere in the match, and the amount of punishment these two dished out to each other and kept like getting up from, I definitely think that was that probably broke the tie for me.
Well, see, I would only thing I would have gone against that was because the match didn't start for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
They
It was definitely
outside
a fight
lot.
outside before the match started.
That's why I want to put it as a tie because one had a little botch thing, but the other one really didn't start for a while.
Right.
So I'd say a tie.
That is true. The cool thing about the Stunt Marshall and Ray Fury was, I think, just kicking off the show, the first thing you hear is hate, hate, hate. And then you get a lot of hate in the ring, and then you get a lot of yeet in the ring. And it was a yeet and hate off. I don't know if it was a hate yeet or a yeet hate. But it was definitely the crowd was kind of torn for a second, but I'd probably give the nod to the yeet section.
I will say this too, at the final match with O'Shea and Fury was the first time I'd ever heard a battle of chants.
Yeah. Absolutely,
They were literally
both guys.
chanting, O'Shea, Fury,
Ray
O'Shea,
Fury, yeah.
Fury. So,
and I'm not. I'll have to go back and check the records, but I don't think we'd ever had a good guy, especially
like
when both those guys are pretty much regular full-time roster members of Pro Wrestling Ego. So it was definitely a night for ego, and I mean that in more ways than one, because essentially, we're doing something nobody else is doing. We're representing the South in a tournament of this magnitude, but to have two of your top guys come out as the top guys is pretty incredible. Says a lot for our talent. So I think in a way that was, that might have been bigger for me than the tournament itself, was the fact that two of our regular top guys made it to the finals. So congrats to both Ray and O'Shea. No matter who won the finals, it was a victory for Pro Wrestling Ego. So very cool moment, Let me see. I'm trying to. I've got this question in my head.
ask it.
What do you see next year's tournament looking like? Do you think it will top, or do you think there's any guys that right off the bat you say, hey, maybe this guy's not the guy that from last year, not the guy from this year, but maybe he's the guy next year that we should be looking at? Have you spotted any guys out there on the independent scene
lately? God, with this new job, barely, bro. Because I just ain't got a lot of time.
Comment, guys, down below if there's a guy in your area that represents the South, whether wrestles predominantly in the South. He doesn't have to be Southern, but he has to predominantly wrestle in the South or be born in the South. Live in the South. If we should be checking them out for next year, it's the 7th edition of the Great Southern 8, and can't start scouting too early.
No, I mean, I'll start looking, but honestly, I just haven't seen a lot of wrestling lately. I really haven't.
Right. So, anything you can give that come out of the tournament? Is there any last comments? Anything you'd like to add to the conversation we've had?
Well, this was something I was saying going into the thing, and you know it, but I kept saying there really wasn't a name to pull to the show. You know what I mean? Nobody had really seen TV, WWE, anything like that. Yeah. But for guys that had never seen TV, I think the tournament went above and beyond what I thought it was going to.
Absolutely. It was one of the biggest crowds we've had at the Hideaway. They were loud. They were into the matches. The matches were all hard hitting.
Cat Superman.
Yeah. Husky Superman.
That ain't what I heard. But okay.
But I thought the event was top notch. It just goes to show you that you don't have to have these names to knock it out the park.
No, I mean that was kind of my point.
I think what I took from it is exactly what the mission was when I created it was to showcase the top wrestlers in the South, and I think we did that. I don't think anybody could say, what were they the top? Could you say, okay, maybe this guy isn't the top guy in a certain state, but you could definitely say, he's one of the top guys in the state.
There was nobody that was lazy.
No, and they all represent their states very well. So I think it's definitely something to be proud of. Any life in headlocks coming up?
No, like I said, I got there earlier, but I thought the band was going to start practicing, so I never put my stuff up. Turned out they didn't have a band, so that was my stupidity.
Well, we have an event December 2nd, Byram Baptist Church, so hopefully you can get some. We have Ike Cross and Ray Fury and O'Shea Edwards all coming back from the Southern 8.
Oh, I got O'Shea Edwards.
So
I need to do another one with Fury.
They'll all be there. Eric Silva, Zombie Dragon will be there in the house. Nightmare Jeremiah, the Boot Boys, big event. Orion Taylor will be in the house.
I see Zombie speaks English. That'd be interesting.
I've never heard him speak, but you know.
Blah blah split.
Yeah.
That might be not be good.
But I know Silva talks, so maybe he could talk.
I got Silva.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We did do that.
I got Silva.
All right, so hey guys, this has been Life in a Headlock. Not Life in a Headlock. This has been Ego on Break, December 2nd, Byram, Mississippi, Byram Baptist Church, January the 6th. The Hideaway. L5P champion Fred Yehai, former Evolve Tag Team champion, will be in the house. He will be taking on Ray Fury, and he has said that he will put his L5P heavyweight title on the line against Ray Fury.
Cool.
So, awesome matchup for that. And then January the 27th, we debut in a new town, Pillahatchee, Mississippi, to the Bigfoot Training Academy. We are coming your way. So Rankin County, we're coming back. Pillahatchee, we're going to make our debut. Pro Wrestling Ego's coming your way. It's the next 3 events. And until then, see you guys.
Bigfoot.
Look for Bigfoot.